Right now, we need to talk about the time change happening this weekend at 9:42. We are springing forward. That means we are going to lose an hour of sleep. Sounds minor, doesn't feel minor for a lot of people. Feeling that inconvenience are adults and kids alike, and that can really become a battle. Days of crankiness, perhaps, those early wake ups. It really affects us. So, joining us right now is Blake Bogus. She's a pediatric sleep specialist at Novant Health, here to help us understand what is happening and what we can do so we don't lose our minds, Blake.
Yeah, thanks for having me. That's right. It definitely can be a difficult time, especially for the little ones.
Yes. So tell me, why are we so cranky for the days following?
Yeah, so when we spring forward, we our circadian rhythm, our inner clock gets misaligned with the time on the clock that we see, and so that really affects us, and we start to get less sleep overall. And so then the populations that are already prone to sleep deprivation or really sensitive to less sleep and time changes, like kids, and then it really impacts them more.
So what is happening to especially kids' bodies during daylight saving time when it starts to kick in?
Yeah, so whenever we are getting less sleep, that really starts to affect emotional dysregulation and leads to things like poor focus, poor memory, starts to affect concentration in school and those types of things. So when we're getting more evening light, um, then we're shifting away from our natural body's rhythm. And so you're putting your kid to bed, um, at not the natural time, but then everything else doesn't shift, right? The school wake up time doesn't shift. So then they're waking up at the same time, getting less sleep overall, and really puts that pressure on their inner clock and their bodies, and they're just not getting the adequate sleep that they need.
How do we change and hopefully evolve as we get older when it comes to a time change?
Yeah, well, as we get older, I think we have a little bit more um, ability to regulate. Throughout the day, and ability to adjust our routine versus a child where they really thrive on routine and kind of need us as caregivers to cue them to change those routines and work on those timing adjustments.
Yeah, so now that we're just a few days out before the dreaded spring forward time change, how can parents help adjust and ease their kids into it?
Yeah, so one thing to easily do is start just a few days ahead of time, putting your child to bed a little bit earlier each night. So starting tonight or tomorrow night, just adjusting the bedtime by 15 to 20 minutes earlier. And then by the time it rolls around on, Saturday into Sunday, hopefully you're back at the desired time. So that is one easy thing to do. Also, light and dark cues. So our bodies really rely on the cues from sunlight and darkness on when we should be awake, when we should be asleep. So getting that early morning light, and then in the evening, hour or two before bed, really starting to dim things down, turning off those overhead lights, going to lower light, night lights, avoiding the electronic lights. Those are some really good things parents can do.
What are some of the mistakes parents make?
I think some mistakes parents can make, and it's an easy trap to fall into, is getting into some habits that may help in the short term, but then in the long run really do us a disfavor in sleep. So things like allowing more screen time around bedtime or wake ups, or laying with the child to fall at bed at night when you've never previously done that, and then they get kind of dependent on that, or kind of falling into, kids love to use some delay tactics at bedtime to, anything to put off that bedtime. So asking for one more story, one more drink, any of those type of things. So it can very easily slip into some habits that you didn't have before, that can be hard to break afterward.
That's so funny. Don't fall for it, parents. They are smarter than you think. All right. So tonight, what is one thing that parents can do tonight to help their kids get ready for Sunday?
I think one thing tonight, one easy thing would just be, like I say, dimming those lights before bedtime, watching our screen time before bed, and then maybe just barely shifting the time tonight. 10-15 minutes is all you would need to do tonight to start to get ready.
And how about nap times? Because I know a lot of babies and toddlers, they like to do the naps. Is that in part of this sleep pattern?
Yeah, you could adjust the nap time and meal times, kind of the whole schedule for those little ones, in alignment with the shift. So then that way their whole routine is shifted as well to really line up everything for them. So nap times, meal times, gradually moving everything by that 15 minutes or so.
All right, we can do that a little bit. And y'all, we need to get away from screen time before bed anyway. All right? I'm kind of like on this whole like reduce the screen time anyway. We need to rewire this whole culture of too much screen time. But anyway, I digress. All right. Blake Boggess, thank you so much for joining us here from Novant Health. Good luck, everybody, adjusting to the time change. A lot of us love it anyway, later sun for the day. All right. Appreciate your time.
Yeah, thank you.